From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Good morning, and thanks for starting your day with us. Today is Saturday, May 3rd. I'm Max Darrow. Here's what we've got at the top of the rundown today. Who knew the term low income could mean making six figures here in the Bay Area? A new report from the California Department of Housing and Community Development now says a single person making over $100,000 in 4 Bay Area counties can be considered low income. That's thanks to the high housing costs. In the latest state eligibility requirements for affordable housing, a person making $109,700 in San Francisco, Marin, and San Mateo counties now can be considered low income. In Santa Clara County, that number is $111,700. It's a big gap from the rest of the country. The median household income in the United States is $78,538. Finally, today is National Free Comic Book Day. It's a tradition started right here in the Bay Area at a comic book store in Concord. A number of stores are participating all day today. They're giving away free comics and other prizes just for walking in. It's all in an effort to share and promote comic book culture. Today marks the 23rd year of the event, which started back in 2002. First Alert meteorologist Zoe Mintz joins us on this Saturday. And Zoe, when I was walking to my car this morning and walking in the building this morning, it was a little chilly for a May day.
Yeah, it's chilly and it's cloudy, it's gloomy, but I mean, it's the May gray. It's what we expect this time of year. We're used to it.
Chilly, though.
It's still chilly. Yeah, it's still not necessarily fun to wake up to, that foggy, cloudy start to the day. But I have some good news. It's only one day of it, and a lot more sunshine and a lot warmer weather is going to arrive early next week. Right now, though, again, we can barely even see out of our cameras for most of the tops of the buildings across San Francisco. Temperatures, like Max said, are chilly, but they're actually a couple of degrees above average for this time of year, sitting in the low 50s, as there is a storm system that's moving overhead. But the word storm is honestly a little bit much with this system. There is some very, very light rain that's making its way across the bay. I don't know how much of this is actually reaching the ground. And as it continues to push east, it might drop 1/100th of an inch, but that would be the maximum amount that we're expecting with this system. And honestly, that might even be a little bit much. It will continue to push farther east into the later morning hours. And then by the afternoon, not expecting much of anything. In fact, look at the cloud coverage by later today. It's very thick and it's very low hanging this morning, but by this afternoon and evening, honestly, North Bay communities, inland East Bay, you should be seeing a beautiful sunset tonight. It's our South Bay and over the Santa Cruz Mountains that you still will be seeing a bit more of that fog that will be hanging on tight throughout the early morning hours tomorrow. But I'll let you know everybody will be seeing sunnier skies and warmer temperatures. That'll be coming up in my full forecast. Back to you.
Thank you, Zoe. Today, the search expands for a missing hiker in San Mateo County. Margaret Elaine McKinley, 79-year-old woman with dementia, got separated from her group while hiking at Windy Hill Open Space Preserve on Thursday. She's not been seen since. The preserve is just outside Portola Valley. McKinley got separated from her family on the Lost Trail, which runs almost parallel to Skyline Boulevard. Alameda, Santa Clara, Marin, and Santa Cruz counties all helping out with this search. People working through the night to try and find McKinley. And more help is on the way as we speak, with 115 people from as far as Southern California helping out. Many of Elaine's longtime friends are helping out as well. They're hoping she will be found safe. Listen.
Elaine is an extremely strong, determined, resourceful, smart, and caring and funny person who can also be stubborn.
The San Mateo County Sheriff's Department is taking the lead on this search. They're using drones, search and rescue dogs, and planes as well, equipped with infrared technology. The University of California has a new president. The UC Board of Regents tapped James B. Milliken for the job. Milliken brings in more than 25 years of experience. He's led major public university systems, including the University of Texas and the City University of New York. He steps into the role as the UC faces scrutiny and funding cuts from the Trump administration. Governor Newsom praised the decision. Milliken has worked on increasing access for low-income and first-generation students. He'll now focus on upholding UC's mission of teaching, research, and public service. Milliken begins his term on August 1st. To San Francisco now. This weekend, Golden Gate Park unveils a heartfelt tribute to women lost to breast cancer. Today, the city and Bay Area young survivors will officially open the Breast Cancer Memorial Garden. More than 100 people are honored in this space. It'll be the first public memorial of its kind in the nation and the park's first new memorial in more than 30 years. Mayor Daniel Lurie, city leaders, and cancer advocates will join the ribbon-cutting ceremony at noon. Staying in the park now, Take Me to the Trees is happening at 5:30 tonight. It's a gathering that focuses on supporting the protection and restoration of redwood forests. Guests will have the opportunity to connect with nature, enjoy live music, and savor some memorable culinary experiences as well, all beneath the majestic redwoods. It's taking place in the National AIDS Memorial Grove. Every dollar raised will help preserve the beauty of the towering trees for generations to come. If you're looking for weekend plans with the kids, today the DeYoung Museum in the park welcomes its families to its 4th annual DeYoungsters Day Out. The free all-day event invites Bay Area families to enjoy hands-on activities, live performances, and collaborations with local artists. Free eye screenings for kids are also available. The event is all about supporting the museum's free programming, like field trips for local students and art curriculum partnerships with schools. San Francisco is revving up for an action-packed weekend as the Mission District prepares to host the Cinco de Mayo Lowrider Car Show. Excitement rolls in at 10 o'clock this morning at John O'Connell High School, where lowriders will take center stage in the vibrant show. It's free for the public to watch. There's a $20 entry fee for show cars. At noon, you can catch the Blessing of the Lowriders, led by Aztec dancers in full regalia, celebrating deep cultural roots. Then, this afternoon, from 4 till 8 p.m. tonight, the party cruises over to 24th and Mission for the Cruise of the Mission. Visitors can enjoy the sights, sounds, and flavors of the neighborhood while soaking in the best of lowrider culture. The Mission District also getting ready to turn into a global stage all next week, with the SF International Arts Festival taking over the neighborhood. Artists from around the world are teaming up with 40 Bay Area performers to present art that shines a light on social themes. Some of the festival highlights include a tribute to Bob Marley, a true story of a trans artist drafted in Ukraine, and a striking Japanese dance piece, all exploring identity and choice. East Palo Alto stepping up its clean energy game. The city just landed more than $580,000 to expand its EV charging network. Funding comes from the Metropolitan Transportation Commission. It backs a regional EV project led by San Mateo County. East Palo Alto is teaming up with 3 other cities to install 66 chargers. 24 of them are set for local spots like Cooley Landing and City Hall. Construction could begin in the next year or 2 through a transportation improvement program. Hey, if you're looking to uncover some gardening secrets, Filoli in Woodside's opening up its gates for a special Dig in the Dirt event today. Visitors can learn more about sustainable gardening techniques and much more. From noon to 3, people can join the Filoli horticulture team to weed mulch and prep the formal garden for the summer. Volunteers will also learn tips on water-wise gardening and plant selection. After the work session, the historic house and gardens will be open for exploration. Pretty cool there. Coming up, marking half a century since the fall of Saigon with a 1,000-kilometer tribute. We'll introduce you to a South Bay man who is making a hike
even
from
I was
San
a little kid, telling me that,
This week marks 50 years since the end of the Vietnam War and the fall of Saigon. And Lay Lam, whose family fled Vietnam, kicked off a 1,000-kilometer journey to honor the mass exodus of Vietnamese refugees 50 years ago, as well as the hundreds of thousands of people who were lost at sea. And over the next 7 weeks, he'll hike down the California coast before ending at a park in Fountain Valley, one of the cities that makes up Orange County's Little Saigon. Our Len Ramirez caught up with Lam as he got ready for his journey to find out what is driving him.
I call it Mobile Command Center. It's not quite done yet.
Lee Lam is preparing for a 50-day, 1,000-kilometer hike along the California coast to remember the boat people.
So we're gonna take it, one day at a time. And
It's part of a mission of his that began when he was a child and survived his own harrowing voyage at sea on an overcrowded boat to escape Vietnam with his family. Now in his late 50s, Lee wants to be sure the estimated 400,000 Vietnamese refugees who did not make it to freedom will not be forgotten.
this 1,000-kilometer hike is not just a hike, right? It's a it's a moving tribute to the boat people who lost at sea. Also to celebrate at the same time to those who made it through.
After a 15-month journey that included stays in refugee camps, Lee's family resettled in Oakland. He was in middle school when a teacher assigned his class to write a journal, and he wrote about being in the boat.
There were times that the wave was so big that when the boats go down like this, you see nothing but wall of water. Something struck me saying that, even though I was a little kid, telling me that, your story needs to be heard. So I love nature.
Lee is an avid hiker and has been planning and preparing for this journey for years.
One of the height that stands out is Mount Whitney.
He mapped out his route, which is filled with symbolism. For most of the trip, he will be inside of the Pacific Ocean. And the 50 days represent 50 years that the boat people have been in the U.S. And he's hiking from Little Saigon in San Jose to a sister community in Westminster.
These are the two places that's the biggest Vietnamese community. And I thought it would be a great thing to do from this Little Saigon to Southern California Saigon.
And although he's setting out alone, he hopes to be joined along the way by others.
I would love to have boat people, refugee, to just come out, hike with me for an hour, 1 kilometer, or just sit and have lunch with me and share their story.
In middle school, he wrote the first chapter of his story, and over the next 50 days, he'll add the latest chapters, one step at a time.
If the hike goes according to schedule, Lamb will reach Orange County by June 19th. I love what he said there, Zoe, about stopping and having a bite to eat with him along the way. If I have a chance to do that, I would love to.
I would love to as well. I might have to drive down the coast just to see if I can maybe catch him on his journey and take him out to lunch if he needs a break.
What a moving, remarkable journey. Good for you. Love to see that. Thank you, Lee.
But what's also beautiful out there, not only a story, but the sunrise. It's one of the few shots that we actually have of the sunrise this morning, and you could see it's just in that little sliver of clouds that it's peeking through. So I wanted to show it off because in about 10 minutes, it's not going to be there anymore.
I love just that little one cloud, that little piece of fog, maybe. Maybe that's not the right word, but it's so pretty.
It's so beautiful. And then you could see it like reflecting off of the other clouds. Honestly, I could watch the sunrise all morning long.
Me too. Probably tell us about the weather,
let's get into the weather
we'll get a
because
little distracted.
it is important today because it is a bit chillier out there, and we're going to continue to see those below average temperatures throughout this afternoon, but it's only one day of it. So on the outdoor plans today, you definitely have to bundle up. Early this morning, though, it's honestly pretty mild. We're in the mid-50s across most of the Bay Area, if not low 50s, even across our North Bay communities. And that's because of all the cloud coverage out there. And it's actually a couple of degrees warmer than yesterday, but do not expect it to be warmer this afternoon than yesterday just because we're starting off the day warmer. It's actually going to be significantly cooler out there. In fact, our highs are likely only going to be in the mid to lower 60s across our inland areas and mid 50s closer to our coastal communities. So everybody is feeling these cooler temperatures from the coast all the way to our inland areas. But there is good news. These cool temperatures, like I said, not going to stick around for long. But the bigger impact today, honestly, is going to be the winds that are going to continue to pick up, which is why we do have wind advisories in effect starting at 11 a.m. this morning and continuing through tomorrow morning. It is going to be pretty windy out there, gusting upwards of 45 to 50 miles an hour along the coast here in San Francisco, 35 to 45 mile-an-hour gust, and even in some of our inland East Bay communities. Up near Fairfield, you could be seeing that isolated 35 to 45. So a windy day is ahead of us, and those winds again will stick around overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning. But by tomorrow afternoon, everybody will begin to feel those warmer temperatures. You'll forget about the chilly and windy conditions today, and you'll be right back into the 70s across our inland areas, back to seasonable for this time of year. Low 70s down into the Santa Clara Valley, mid 60s here in San Francisco, and even our coastal communities are going to be seeing more sunshine, getting them back into the low 60s as well. And everybody will continue to see these warmer temperatures, especially to kick off next week. This heat up will continue, which is really great news for anybody that wants to get out and about. ground. And it's interesting to see the storm system. It's bringing widespread moisture across California right now, but just behind this storm system, this is a huge mass of really dry air that's quickly going to be arriving, I would say, over the next several hours. This morning, there's a little bit of rain. I don't really know how much that's actually reaching the ground. There technically has not been any measurable rainfall today. You might see 1/100 of an inch, though, across the inland East Bay communities. Again, this afternoon, it's well below average when it comes to our temperatures, but a big heat up is on the way. On Monday, we'll be back into the mid-80s across our inland areas. Even Sunday, back into the mid-70s after being in the mid-60s today. So again, a big heat up is on the way starting tomorrow and continuing into Monday as those winds begin to die down tomorrow afternoon as well. So today is the windy, the cool, the cloudy day. So any outdoor activities, again, I would highly suggest pushing them to Sunday if you can. If you can't, though, just make sure you're prepared. Make sure you grab a jacket and make sure you secure any loose outdoor objects. They will blow away, and get ready for a big warm up by Monday of next week. And they're going to stay pretty warm into Tuesday as well, cooling down just a bit by Wednesday and Thursday with a little bit more cloud coverage. But honestly, a lovely work week is ahead of us. Even our inland and coastal communities going to be warming up to above average. Back to you.
My eyes are on that Monday. Thank you, Zoe. Coming up after the break, the nation's premier horse race happens today at Churchill Downs. We'll preview the top contenders in the Kentucky Derby. The Kentucky Derby is here, kicking off the 2025 Triple Crown today. At 4 o'clock our time, 19 horses will charge down the track at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky for the Run for the Roses. Top contenders include Sovereignty, Journalism, Burnham Square, and Sandman. Expect thrilling races, iconic Derby hats, and plenty of excitement. The first leg of horse racing's biggest event gets underway. Back here at home, Thrive City transforming from a Dubs spot to a Kentucky Derby watch party. They'll have the race on the big screen right there at Thrive City. They've got themed cocktails, raffle prizes, a rose-themed photo op, and even though we're a ways away from Kentucky, a best dressed contest. Space is limited, so be sure to RSVP to secure your spot. Coming up after the break, President Trump makes another emergency appeal to the Supreme Court, this time seeking access to the personal data of millions of Americans. Plus, new tariffs on imported auto parts kicking in today. How the levies could affect prices for purchases as well as repair.
From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Max Darrow. This is meteorologist Zoe Mintz, if you didn't know. Of course you do by now. We've got the first weekend of May, and it is just welcoming us with that May gray.
True May gray form right behind us, feeling the chill in the air. But by tomorrow, it's not going to feel like the May gray. Honestly, it'll feel more like September with sunny skies,
like
warm
that.
temperatures. Yeah, so changes are on the way, but we got to get through today first as a storm system is making its way across the Bay Area. Storm system, honestly, though, is a pretty strong word for it. It's just a little bit of moisture, a little bit of cloud coverage that's pushing across the entirety of the West Coast right now. But you notice behind it, this huge area is dry air. And this dry air is going to continue to build in very quickly later today. By tomorrow, we'll be back to normal. By Monday, well above average across the Bay Area. This morning, though, it is quiet, it is calm, it's cool, and there's a little bit of some low-hanging cloud coverage and misty conditions. Honestly, I don't think much of this is reaching the ground. It's not measurable rainfall right now. And if it does reach the ground, it will only be about 1/100 of an inch. So don't expect much rain, and it's not going to last much longer than the next, I would say, hour or so. This morning, it's a mild start to our day. So don't grab the umbrella. You're likely not going to need it, but grab a jacket and keep it handy as high temperatures are only going to warm about 10 degrees into this afternoon. We'll be seeing those highs only sitting in the 60s all across the Bay Area, if not 50s closer to our coastal communities as we've been used to. Everybody is feeling cooler temperatures and cloudier conditions today. But like I said, a big heat up is on the way along with a lot more sunshine. And I'll let you know when you can expect that coming up in just a bit. Back to you.
Thank you, Zoe. President Trump is at his Palm Beach estate this weekend, while work in Washington continues on multiple fronts. The Trump administration has announced its budget plans with spending cuts, while it also asks the Supreme Court to give DOJ personal data on millions of Americans. CBS News' Bradley Blackburn is tracking the latest from the administration.
President Trump left his Palm Beach Golf Club Friday, while in Washington, his administration took another swing at giving DOJ more power. In an emergency appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court, the Trump administration asked to clear the way for the Department of Government Efficiency to access sensitive Social Security data with personally identifiable information on millions of Americans, supposedly to find fraud. Billionaire Elon Musk has said he's winding down his time with DOJ, but the administration says the department's work to cut government waste will continue.
He was treated very unfairly by I guess you'd call it the public, by some of the public, not by all of it.
Friday, the president also gave Congress his budget blueprint, calling for $163 billion in spending cuts. It targets public health, education, and clean energy programs, but would not touch defense, border security, Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. In an executive order this week, Trump defunded PBS and NPR, accusing them of bias in their reporting. It affects public TV and radio stations across the country that are supported in part by the federal government.
I'm still really befuddled by all of this and the potential damage.
But the president is gearing up for a military parade in Washington with thousands of troops, dozens of aircraft, and tanks. It's planned for June 14th, the 250th anniversary of the Army and the president's 79th birthday. One defense official tells CBS News early estimates peg the cost at tens of millions of dollars.
On social media Friday, President Trump renewed his war with Harvard University. Trump says he'll revoke its tax-exempt status. Harvard's president told the Wall Street Journal taking that step would be, quote, highly illegal. This morning, we are following a major legal win for a prominent law firm and a big blow to a controversial executive order issued by President Trump. Federal judge just struck down Trump's executive order targeting the law firm Perkins Coie, calling it flat out unconstitutional. The firm once represented Hillary Clinton and has worked on voting rights cases that Trump opposed. The judge says the order was clear retaliation and banned its enforcement for good. This marks the first time a Trump order like this one has been permanently blocked. The CIA is making big changes to its workforce under orders from the Trump administration. The agency plans to cut about 1,000 jobs over the next few years, but instead of layoffs, it will happen through attrition. That means they won't replace workers who retire or leave the agency. Earlier this year, the CIA did lay off around 80 employees, mostly from diversity-related roles, but a judge has temporarily blocked those particular cuts. While the CIA doesn't reveal its exact workforce numbers, estimates have it around 22,000 employees. New changes just hit the auto industry, and these tariffs could cost you even if you're not in the market for a new car. Starting today, a 25% tax applies to most imported auto parts. It's a big hit since no U.S.-made car is truly made all-American. Most rely on foreign parts throughout the process. Experts say this could drive up costs across the industry, adding up to $4,000 per vehicle. The White House plans to offer a short-term refund to automakers, but that will not cover everything. While car prices may hold steady for now, expect to pay more at the repair shop and on your insurance bill. Coming up after the break, you may remember this clip of a wayward pelican in the stands at a Giants game. Well, it turns out that bird may have been sick and there may be a lot more like it.
Right now, we're in the phase of encouraging folks to be on the lookout for pelicans in strange places.
Coming up next, the alarming trend that is once again keeping local wildlife centers busy. Local wildlife rescuers are racing to save hundreds of starving brown pelicans. It's similar to the troubling trend that we saw last year. As John Ramos reports, one local rescue operation is now asking the public to help out.
The brown pelicans are back at International Bird Rescue in Fairfield, and that's not a good thing. About 200 juveniles have been brought in so far on the verge of starvation, and that's putting a lot of strain both on the staff and finances of the rescue outfit. It started in Los Angeles, where a domoic acid bloom off the coast has been sickening pelicans. But now it appears the birds have moved up into the Bay Area.
We today got 12 new young brown pelicans. They're all from the Santa Cruz area, been found in unusual places, people's driveways, the wharf. Some of these clearly been recognized, easily recognized that there's something wrong.
The birds, all of them young, are not really sick. They're starving. Brown pelicans reach full size in just a few months, and to do that, they eat their own weight in fish every day. But now they simply aren't finding enough to eat. It's still a mystery, but Executive Director J.D. Bergeron says a warm blob of water off the California coast may be causing fish to swim just a little bit deeper.
They can be literally 7 or 8 feet down. The strongest of these pelicans with their plunge dive can only go about 6 feet deep. They could starve to death literally with fish about a foot below. It's clearly access to the food. There's not been any reports from the fisheries that the fish stock is down.
Each bird gets a thorough exam and is given vitamins, saline, and antibiotics, and drugs to kill the parasites that take over when the bird is in a weakened condition. And if they seem pretty docile, it's because they may be very close to death.
And they are animals who will not survive without additional help.
How long do they have in that situation?
Just a couple days. Sometimes it could be their last day if it's been a while that we can get to them, but it's urgent and in dire need.
The telltale sign of trouble is when a pelican, desperate to find food, ignores its fear of man and begins showing up in strange places.
There's a bird in short left center who's suddenly become a star.
Like at a Giants game last year. The fans were cheering, having no idea that the bird was probably starving to death.
The sad thing is that there is always a limit. If you have starving animals, at some point there's a mass mortality, that they have been starving long enough that they cannot survive any longer. So right now we're in the phase of encouraging folks to be on the lookout for pelicans in strange places, because the sooner you can get them into care, the more likely we can succeed in getting them well again.
The good news is that most of the birds do fine once they get plenty of food. But that's still a problem for international bird rescue. At about $2.50 per pound, the fish bill is skyrocketing.
A challenge like this can literally cost us $100,000 or more.
So they're asking for help from the public. They need 3 things: monetary donations, volunteers to help at the center, and finally, for people to keep an eye out for pelicans acting strangely. In this case, a call to the bird rescue could be the difference between life and death.
While it still may be a mystery, it is also becoming commonplace. The Rescue Center has seen starving pelicans in 3 out of the last 4 years. For more information or to help out, there is a link to International Bird Rescue on our website, kpix.com. Remember the rise of parklets, the little outdoor dining areas on the street that took off during COVID? More than 1,000 of them were sprinkled across San Francisco at the height of the pandemic, but now only about 300 remain. But a new approach inspired by Lego could soon spark a revival. Kara St. Cyr explains.
Hi, how can I help you today?
Leia Sabato's coffee shop, Excelsior Coffee, was almost perfect.
All in the wrist.
It just needed one thing, an updated parklet.
When we were looking at updating it to today's laws, that's when we realized it was going to be $60,000. It was probably not going to happen.
But she still got what she wanted for $375 a month. Leia is the guinea pig in SF New Deal's Building Blocks project, which aims to give small business owners access to parklets for a fraction of the cost. Simon Bertrang, the executive director, says businesses only pay a monthly fee.
So in the pandemic era, people could put them up for $10,000 to $20,000. There are parklets throughout the city that have costed upwards of $100,000.
Parklet use exploded during the pandemic.
There were no fees and there were very few regulations.
But new regulations made upkeep and construction costly. Of the 1,000 parklets that popped up in 2020, only 327 of them are in compliance. Bertrang is trying to boost that number.
The selling point for the business owners is that we become the experts in the compliance issues and how to meet ADA codes, how to meet the fire code.
Leia will keep an eye out for maintenance issues.
So, here it is.
But most of the responsibility falls on the program. An easy trade-off, she says.
It gives us the forward thinking to hopefully extend our hours, expand our menu. And then, we throw community parties and block parties on the street. So the cool thing is it's so versatile that I think we could, and elevated that I feel like we can use it as a stage too.
Leia's parklet is the building block of a larger goal. bringing back community.
Although it is ours, it still serves as a public parklet.
While her parklet might be the first, she definitely won't be the last.
The SFMTA says more than 200 new parklets are already working towards approval. Coming up next, turn your worn-out sneakers into a work of art and help save the planet at the same time. We'll get you up to speed when we come back in 60 seconds. Welcome back. You just saw that live look at the Bay Bridge on the May Gray in full force on this Saturday. Zoe Mintz, what should we need to know? Do we just get through today and on to tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, if you can make those outdoor plans that you may have had already today, push them to tomorrow. I highly suggest you do that. But if you have to go out today, just grab a jacket. Don't grab the umbrella, though. Although I want to show you the radar because it looks like there's some activity on there right now. Only about 1/100th of an inch has dropped, and only Hayward technically has reported that 1/100th of an inch. Elsewhere, it's not actually reaching the ground. It's that low-hanging, misty, foggy conditions, but just another reason that you might want to stay in bed an extra minute or two early this morning. The biggest impact this afternoon is definitely going to be the winds. We're actually expecting those gusts up to 45 to 50 miles an hour, which is why we do currently have wind advisories in effect all day today and into early tomorrow morning, especially closer to those coastal communities where you're probably not going to want to get in the water. Rip currents are definitely higher. The water is going to be churned up from these winds gusting. So do keep that in mind this afternoon. Probably not the best day to head to the beach, not just because it's windy, but also because we're also looking at those higher rip currents. And it's cooler closer to the coast as usual. We're seeing those high temperatures this afternoon sticking in the mid-50s, while our inland areas definitely feeling the cool down compared to yesterday. They're only going to be in the mid-60s this afternoon, all the way down into the Santa Clara Valley, low 60s. So keep that in mind. Keep a jacket handy today. You're likely going to need it. And the clouds are going to stick around again in the earlier half of the day. But by later this afternoon and evening, in fact, our North Bay communities, inland East Bay communities, and even here in San Francisco, likely going to be seeing clearing skies and a beautiful sunset. It's just the South Bay and down into the Santa Cruz Mountains that we are expecting that cloud coverage to stick around a little bit longer later tonight. By tomorrow afternoon, though, everybody is going to be seeing clearing skies, plenty of sunshine, and that's going to allow those high temperatures to warm right back up to seasonable. We'll be in the mid-70s to low 70s across our inland areas and down into the Santa Clara Valley, upper 60s around the Bay, and even low 60s closer to the coast, as even our coastal communities are going to be seeing clearing skies. Quite a lot of sunshine as offshore winds are going to begin to develop early next week. So keep that in mind. The winds are going to stick around, but they're also going to be bringing us warmer temperatures as very dry air is moving in on the back end of this system. On the back end of the system, again, is dry air and offshore winds. The winds are not going to be as breezy tomorrow afternoon compared to today, but notice how much they pick up tomorrow or into Monday, excuse me. And again, coming in directly from that offshore direction, it's going to allow for downslope warming. It's going to allow for a lot drier conditions, and especially Monday, a big heat up is on the way. And again, we're going to be looking at those wind gusts, especially Monday afternoon, picking up as well. Today, they'll be gusty up to 40 to 50 miles an hour. Monday, also going to be pretty gusty as well, but along with warm Livermore, inland East Bay communities, going to be in the mid-80s. And even here in San Francisco, hey, we'll be in the mid-70s on Monday afternoon before cooling down just a bit by Tuesday and into Wednesday. But still, it's going to be beautiful this upcoming week. That kind of roller coaster of temperatures that will be on the way throughout the next 7 days or so. Today, easily going to be the coolest of the next 7. Plan some outdoor activities and enjoy even near 80 degrees for areas around the Bay on Monday. Back to you.
What a quick warm up. Thank you, Zoe. In this morning's Project Earth report, sneakers are the topic. We throw away tens of millions of them every year, mostly into landfills where they contaminate our soil and our groundwater. But now one solution is afoot, thanks to an East Bay sneaker repair shop and the Golden State Warriors. Ann Makovic laces it up.
In downtown Oakland, some see this man as a savior of souls. Once inside his workshop, Jeff Pearlstein does not intend to deliver anyone from evil. These days, his mission in life is to save your sneakers.
There's millions, billions of shoes in the world already. And they're creating a lot of waste. Unfortunately, it's toxicity for the planet.
Jeff runs Soul Space Lab.
Oh yeah, see?
The nonprofit is a unique sneaker repair shop that focuses on sustainability and community learning.
Lots of people are concerned about the future of our planet, our impact on it, but feel kind of helpless. And so this is a real opportunity for people to make a difference.
Here, workshops teach folks how to upcycle, refurbish, or customize their kicks. The resulting handiwork is pretty cool, including
this was taken from cork.
A sneaker decorated with recycled cork.
This is all made from scratch, just started as the sole.
The Wu-Tang Clan sneaker. And
this was done in just a couple hours by a team of high schoolers.
Just in time, one for the Golden State Valkyries. Sometimes older sneaks just need a new sole and a whitening under UV light. Joining Jeff in the effort, the Golden State Warriors. Recently, the team threw a sustainable soul event at Thrive City.
How could we make sneakers, give them a second life, give them a third life?
Former Warrior Adonal Foyle was on hand to help give away some lightly worn sneakers.
I saw that they was giving out free shoes, and then you can also donate some shoes to help out the community and environment.
It's so important to think about the legacy that you want to leave behind. Not just what you do on the court, but the legacy of how you think of the environment and how you think of the next generation.
Pop-up workshops showed ways to customize shoes.
They have all these cool little stencils and stuff, so I was like, why not give it a try?
So what I'm gonna do is do half blue, half yellow. On this shoe, I'm gonna put the UCLA logo on there.
My favorite player is Steph Curry, so I just did that.
Foyle knows what's at stake. When he played for the Warriors, he burned through a lot of shoes.
When I was playing, we pretty much used one sneaker, one game.
Now Foyle's size 17s have a brand new life as a prize for his charity golf tournament.
Giving somebody a trophy, we give them a size 17 sneakers.
Back in Oakland, Jeff feels hopeful about the future.
This is a real opportunity for people to do something that's right in their hands, that they can be proud of, excited about, express their creativity, and actually make some change.
By saving a couple of old souls.
Sometimes only the soles of your shoes get worn out. You can get them resold at your local cobbler. For more information on shoe waste and Soul Space Lab, go to kpix.com. Stay with us.
Good morning. Happy Saturday. We are waking up to a lot of cloud coverage, a lot of fog early this morning, but by later this afternoon and evening, things will quickly be clearing out, drier weather making its way in. Still keep a jacket handy for any outdoor activities today. By tomorrow, we'll be back to seasonable, if not a degree or two above average, and then mid-80s returning by Monday afternoon across our inland areas. A bit of a cool down on Tuesday and into Wednesday, but a cool down this time of year just means back to seasonable. Kind of a roller coaster of temperatures that are going to continue from inland over to the bay. We'll still be in the 70s to near 80 degrees even around our bay areas on Monday, and even closer to the coast, near 70 degrees. A beautiful beach day on the way to kick off the upcoming week, but drier weather is on the way. You still have to get through today with this cloudier and cooler conditions. Back to you.
Thank you, Zoe. Coming up, fighting fire with fire. How a park ranger who also works as a wildland firefighter is using controlled burns to try and prevent a disaster. And a man with decades of surfing experience in Pacifica says there's a better way to preserve the beach other than building a seawall. What he and some fellow environmentalists are proposing.